Daughters of the soil. Some time ago, in the village of Olokuta, where the baobab trees stretched towards the sky and the rivers sang old songs, there lived a farmer named Oladipupo, known to everyone as Babade, a name he coined out of his love for his unborn first son, who would be called Adediran. His farm was the largest in the land, with rows of yam, cassava, and maize that danced in the wind. He was a strong and hard-working man, respected by all for his wisdom and generosity. Yet, despite all his blessings, Baba Ade carried a deep worry in his heart. He had no son to inherit his farm. Baba Ade was one of the oldest bachelors in the land in his time, you see. Not because he could not afford to marry one or even more wives, he simply was focused on growing the foundation of his wealth, his vast farmland. In his culture, it was believed that a son was a farmer's greatest legacy, the one to carry on the family name and traditions. Baba Ade would love his daughters, but he feared that one day, when he was old and weak, there would be no one to take care of the land. When he married his first wife, now Mama Yetunde, a woman with a heart as kind as the morning sun, she bore him two daughters, Yetunde and Shade. They were strong, hardworking, and eager to learn. Mama Yetunde taught them the importance of the land, how to plant crops, and how to listen to the whispers of the earth. But the village elders shook their heads. "A great farmer needs a son," they said. So Baba Ade married a second wife, a reputable trader, now Mama Ronke. She gave birth to two daughters, Ronke and Tola, who were as hardworking as their older sisters. They learned how to farm, how to trade in the market, and how to cook delicious meals from the harvest. Yet, Baba Ade was not satisfied. "I must have a son," he thought. His third wife, now Mama Bisi, arrived with the hope of giving him an heir. When she gave birth to twin daughters again, Bisi and Dupe, she was filled with disappointment. Unlike the other wives, she did not believe that daughters could carry on a man's name. As the years passed by, Baba Ade's farm continued to thrive, but his heart remained restless. He did not know that his greatest treasure had already been given to him, not in sons, but in daughters. Despite their father's doubts, Yetunde, Shade, Ronke, and Tola loved the farm deeply. Every morning, before the sun rose, they followed Baba Ade into the fields, their feet bare against the cool earth. They learned to plant yams in neat rows, to weave baskets for carrying maize, and to call on the rain with songs passed down from their ancestors. Yetunde, the eldest, had a sharp mind and could plan the best planting seasons. Shade was strong, able to carry heavy baskets of cassava without resting. Ronke had a gift for speaking, charming the market women and making the best trades. Tola could spot a sick plant from miles away and knew which herbs could heal the soil. But Bisi and Dupe, their younger stepsisters, were different. Their mother, Mama Bisi, spoiled them. She told them they did not need to work like common farmers. "You are daughters of a great man," she would say. "Others should work for you." The twins grew up lazy, refusing to learn the ways of the land. They spent their days braiding their hair, wearing fine clothes, and mocking their hard-working sisters. "The farm is for men," they laughed. "What use is all this dirt and sweat?" The older daughters ignored them and continued working. Baba Ade, though growing weaker with age, still believed that without a son, his farm would one day be lost. One year, the skies grew silent. The rains that once fell so freely did not come. The rivers dried, and the fields turned to dust. The great famine had arrived. Farmers watched helplessly as their crops withered. Food became scarce, and hunger crept into every home. Many villagers sold their lands and livestock, leaving for distant towns in search of food. Babade, now burdened and weary, could no longer work as he once did. He sat by the doorway of his house, watching the land he had built fall apart. He sighed, turning to his daughters. If only I had a son, someone strong enough to save our farm. Yetunde stepped forward, her voice steady. Baba, we may not be sons, but we are your children. Let us save what remains. With that, the 4 eldest daughters took charge. They woke before dawn, walking miles to fetch water from the last surviving river. They planted what little they had left in hidden patches of moist soil. Ronke went to the market, bargaining with wisdom beyond her years, trading small supplies for sacks of grain. Tola gathered healing herbs, teaching the younger villagers how to nourish the land with natural remedies. But Bisi and Dupe, the twin daughters, did nothing. Why should we suffer like commoners? They mocked. Until one day, hunger came for them too. With their stomachs empty and their fine clothes now dull, Bisi and Dupe finally saw what they had ignored all their lives. Their sisters, whom they had once mocked, were the reason their family still had food to eat. Ashamed, they approached Yetunde and Shade. Please, Bisi whispered, teach us. Yetunde, wise beyond her years, smiled gently. The land does not choose who works it. If you are willing to learn, the earth will always provide, Yetunde responded. And so, for the first time, Bisi and Dupe stepped onto the dry fields, their hands touching the soil they had once avoided. It was difficult, but under the guidance of their sisters, they learned to plant, harvest, and trade. Their mother, Mama Bisi, who had once believed that only sons could bring honor, saw her mistake. She then admitted to Babade, I was wrong. Our daughters are stronger than we ever knew. The famine eventually passed, and the village slowly healed. But something had changed in Olokuta forever. People no longer whispered about Babade's lack of sons. Instead, they marveled at his daughters who had saved the farm, fed the village, and rebuilt what was lost. The elders who once pitied Babade now bowed in respect. Your daughters have proven what we failed to see, they said. Strength is not in gender, but in heart, wisdom, and hard work. Babade, no longer actively farming but now at peace, looked at his children with pride. He had spent years wishing for a son, only to realize that his daughters were the greatest gift Olodumare had ever given him. As he sat beneath the old Iroko tree, he called his daughters together. My children, he said, this land is yours. May you tend it with the love and wisdom you have shown, and may our name live on, not because of a son, but because of the strength of our daughters. And so, the daughters of Babade became legends in Olokuta, proving that legacy is not determined by gender, but by the hands willing to build it. The end.